I wanted to share this encounter that my mother had, and this was a few days before she passed away. Now, my mother had been diagnosed with cancer, and when she first got diagnosed, the doctors gave her just a few months to live. I mean, it was like this very bad, very advanced, grapefruit-sized mass. The cancer was just everywhere, and they said she's got 3 months if she's lucky with the best treatments. That's it. And my brother and I, everyone in our family, we started praying for her, and it brought us back to a state of prayer and believing and just knowing. I just knew this is not God's will. And so within months, my mother's in remission, and we're excited. We're celebrating what God is doing, and she's receiving these treatments. And I'm like praying, God, protect her from the treatments because those are just devastating. And she wasn't getting sick from the treatments like everyone around her. And people were shocked and they're like, all of a sudden she's in remission. She's not losing her hair. A lot of the side effects that you would typically see. And I was thanking God, but here about 3.5, 4 years later, the cancer came back, and she had been told, stay on these treatments, keep doing them, and she did, and the effects of that were building up. And when they found it the last time, they said it is in her bones, it's everywhere, and she couldn't keep down food. She was getting really skinny, and if you've ever been through something like this, it is very traumatizing because here I am praying for her to be healed and still believing even when it looked like all hope was lost, like God show up, heal her, and we were just in a constant state of praying and mourning and believing. And my mom actually told me, she said, stop praying for me to be healed. And I didn't know how to take that because I'm like, I cannot stop fighting. I cannot stop believing. And so I'm in a place of watching her suffer, and near the end she was in extreme pain and she refused pain medication. She was crying out and just in agony. Her bones were breaking. I mean, it was just a terrible pain, and even the doctors were like, she needs to take something, and she said, I don't want to take anything. I want to be sober when I meet the Lord. And she was crying out and praying, day and night. I was listening to this and I was hearing her, and I was at her bedside one night, and this is when we really thought, you kind of know, like the time is approaching. You don't know when, but we were in there and we were praying, and there was a couple of us in our family, maybe 8 or 9 of us, and I'm on the side of her bed. I'm on the floor. I'm kind of on my knees, and I have my hand up, and I am praying for her. And I'm not praying out loud. I'm just praying inwardly because I'm distressed and I'm thinking she's in this great pain. How can I make this stop? God doesn't bring death. He only brings every good and perfect gift. Our Messiah was always healing people, and I didn't know what to pray for at this moment. And just out of sheer desperation, I'm praying inwardly. I say, God, just send her your angels right now. And no sooner that I pray those words inwardly, my mom begins looking up in amazement. She's looking around the room and she's going, "Wow." And my sister says, "What is it? What is it?" And she says, "My angels, they're here. They're beautiful." And she starts describing these angelic beings, and she's like, "They're so colorful." And nobody else can see them, obviously. And we're all like, "What?" And I remember my sister saying, "Describe them." And she's trying to describe these angels. And I am just taken back because I had just asked God to send his angels. And I didn't say it out loud. So I'm like, she didn't hear me. Nobody heard me. It was just me in a prayer with God in a moment of desperation. And I thought this must be it because people do sometimes see things before they pass away. And I thought, well, she's probably not going to be here much longer. But she didn't pass away that night or the next night or the next night. So here we are 3 days later. We're all in this room again, and we are with her. And the hospice nurse had come in and said she's showing obvious signs. She may not have more than a few hours. Definitely not going to make it past tonight. And I'm in her room and I'm praying and I'm like, God, just give her peace. And she grabs my arm and she says, Michael, go tell my angels I'm ready. And she said, tell my angels to come back. And I didn't know what to do because I'm like, I never told her that I asked for them the first time. And here she is saying, tell them to come back, that I'm ready to go. And I stood there kind of in shock. And me and my brother standing beside each other. And she says, stop being lazy. Go tell my angels to come back. And so I just jumped up and I was like, all right, let's go. So me and Josh, we go outside out back and we start praying again. And we come back in the room and she says, they're here. You can leave now. I need some privacy. She's like, my angels are back and I'm ready to go. And, it was one of those moments where we didn't listen to her then because we're like, we want to be with you every moment. And she had so much peace and she could see that she was surrounded by God's angels. And that moment for me was God showing up even in the midst of like one of my worst hours, and it's just like the most heartbreaking thing you could ever encounter. And I was reading some scriptures, and this has taken on new light to me lately, especially when we realize what's going on around us, right? There's this spiritual battle that everyone seems to be waking up to. And I was reading this encounter with Elijah. So Elijah is surrounded by the Syrian army, and his servant goes out in the morning, and he is terrified because he sees that there are just thousands upon thousands of chariots and soldiers around them. They are surrounded. Everything seems hopeless. And Elijah says something that just speaks to us today. He says, "Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And then Elijah prayed and he said, "O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." So the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elijah. So God opened up the servant's eyes, and he was able to see something Elijah already knew. Elijah was this prophet, this man of God who had faith, and he understood that the God that was with them, this God of hosts, this Lord of hosts, which means the Lord of the armies, he said that there is greater are those that are with us than those that are with them, because he understood what was all around him, something that nobody else could see. His servant could not see this. When we were in that room with my mother, we couldn't see it, but she saw it, and it gave her comfort and it gave her peace when she was facing this enemy that we call death. And God is always, always with us. He is always surrounding us with this army. We don't understand it. We don't walk in that faith, but just like Elijah said, and that's one of those things I want us to all pray for, that God would open our eyes, that we would all see these chariots of fires and these armies of God that are with us each and every single day of our lives. Thank you all for listening. God bless.